We had our first appointment with the IVF clinic. And to explain some of this, I started an at-home chemical peel yesterday, so please forgive the discoloration, but just wanted to quickly review the first appointment. I will make another video about the pricing sheet that we got, and then another video over test results for the initial tests that were ordered, which have still not come in on my end, but we'll get to that. So the first appointment, of course, the doctor asked, why did we want to pursue surrogacy? He asked about my health conditions. He asked about what medications I take for my heart every day and what medications I take for dysautonomia, but only the ones every day. Most of my medications are as needed. I provided him with that. He wasn't familiar with two of them. He told me that, well, and also when we started the appointment, we were in this exact room, although the lighting was a bit brighter. So I think it cast more shadows on my face, like in my cheekbones, but he said, I noticed that you're quite thin. And I said, yes. And he asked me how much I was able to eat and drink every day. And I told him I can eat about 2 ounces of food at a time, 3, sometimes 4 times a day. And I can take in 20 to 24 ounces of any fluid per day. He was like, wow, that's a lot. But I was clever. I said, or that's a little, depending on how you look at it. So he liked that joke, but point is, so because of my frail state of health, he said, and we told him, I was like, I'm not known to have fertility problems. We've never tried conceiving, like, ever. And he said, don't try to do this by yourself. He said, do not get pregnant. And we were like, that's fine. That's been our plan. You know, I'm 37, and it's just like, we're not going to. We're not going to. I'm not the type of woman that needs to feel the experience of pregnancy, and it's fine. It's fine. So he said, okay, basically, you know, we get your blood work and your husband's semen analysis, which my husband was at the appointment, by the way. He said, we'll get all that going before we even bring your surrogate in. The first test we're going to do is AMH, which is a blood test. And that will help determine how much fertility drugs you are going to need to take. He said, now normally we like to get at least 10 to 15 mature eggs from, during a single egg extraction. But for you, we're going to take less than 10 eggs. We use propofol for our sedation. And not only do we want to keep you under propofol for as little as possible because it lowers your blood pressure and you already have low blood pressure, but I want to give you as low dose fertility drugs as possible because they're going to increase bloating and nausea and upset your gastroparesis and potentially give you some other side effects. So he said, we will plan to give you a lower dose of the fertility drugs and get you in and out of the propofol in under 10 minutes with the goal of getting less than 10 eggs. Or the plan of getting less than 10 eggs. If they're able to suck, if they're more mature ones, there and they're able to suck those out in the time frame, then they will, but that's not, you know, what's going to be expected. So the AMH blood test measures kind of how many eggs you have left, not necessarily the quality of them, but do you have like a normal amount of eggs for your age, lower or higher, and then the number helps determine how they will respond to fertility treatment. None of it is a guaranteed success of, or a guaranteed, you know, there's no indication of like, oh, just because you have a great egg count for your age, like you're totally going to be more fertile. That's not what this is. It's more for dosing purposes of the trigger shot, and hopefully that I can get on the lower dose hormone pills, fertility pills, which are actually significantly cheaper. I'm talking literally 1,000 times cheaper than the shots. So we discussed that. Said my husband will have to have the semen analysis, not just for count, but for motility and other things. So he put that order in, and basically he said, you know, we'll get it done. And he did ask, he said, so do you have a family friend or anyone doing the, you know, being the surrogate? And I said, yes, we very generously have a family friend who is willing to do it for us. And he said, okay, I didn't want to, you know, alarm you, but if you have to hire a surrogate, that is very, very expensive, you know, upwards of $60,000. So he said, I'm glad that you have that resource available to you. So that's kind of how it went. At first he told me that I could get my blood test anywhere and that my husband had to go to there for the semen analysis. But after the orders were put in and they took like 2 days to come through the system, the medical assistant told me, no, you have to come here for the blood test, but your husband can go elsewhere for the semen analysis if he so chooses. So I did my blood test 2 days ago, and of course I asked the phlebotomist, how long does it take to generate the test results? And she said it should be 24 to 48 hours. It's been 47 now. They're not in the portal, but today is a Saturday. I don't know if that affects it, if someone has to manually put them in there, or if they'll just generate from, if they, I don't know. A different department called my husband for the semen analysis, and they said that the soonest they could get him in was May 12th, I believe. It's April 5th right now, so he took the appointment, but also let the lady know that we're going to look at some outside laboratories that can get it in sooner. If we have to wait on his semen analysis, it's actually okay, because the big number right now is the AMH, to figure out the dosing for the fertility pill and the trigger shot so that I can get my eggs extracted as soon as possible. They can be fertilized whenever. But anyway, he said, you know, for now that's it. We'll probably do another visit and then bring the surrogate in after that for her testing. And I asked him, if everything goes perfectly, what's the soonest implantation month? And he said that based on my menstrual cycle, if everything goes perfectly, we could implant a fertilized embryo in either late June or early July. And again, like I said, it's April 5th right now, but I'll make a separate video, much shorter video, about the pricing for everything, as well as office visits and everything. My insurance doesn't cover any of this. And I do have some grants to look at for all of this as well, so I'll look more into that. But I just wanted to give a quick video update. I really want to try to make these videos a lot shorter, so maybe they'll get some views, but that's it. That was basically the first appointment.